if you're only relying on motivation to keep you going and to achieve everything you want to, then I'm so sorry, but you're going to be left with a bunch of half-finished projects. Now I want you to be real with yourself for just 1 second. Have you ever had an idea or even started something because you felt this influx of motivation, this high energy spark, you're raring to go, you want to get the idea executed, but then later on down the line, the idea completely fell off because it wasn't as easy as you thought it was going to be, and you've just pushed it off and been like, I'll complete it later on in the week, and then it just never ever gets done. We've all been there, myself included. And that's because motivation is a feeling, a fleeting feeling even, that doesn't really last that long. Whereas consistency, that is you making a decision to show up for yourself every single day, even on the days where you don't feel motivated. Because consistency doesn't stop for anyone or anything, which is why you need to make that decision and make that promise to yourself to hop on board the train of consistency and ride it every single day. Because ultimately, if you've got goals to achieve, then this is gonna be your key to success, consistency. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how you can do this. Don't get me wrong, motivation is a good thing to have. It's a good Kickstarter for the consistency. However, if you're only relying on motivation to keep you going and to achieve everything you want to, then I'm so sorry, but you're going to be left with a bunch of half-finished projects, because the motivation is not going to be there every single day. Let's be real, life happens to people, life be lifing, and sometimes it's hard to get up every single day in the morning and be fully motivated, fully committed to whatever it is that you're wanting to achieve every single minute of every single day. And that is why consistency is a lot harder than motivation, but staying consistent and being consistent is ultimately the way that you're going to achieve those goals successfully. So we're going to talk a little bit about motivation and how this only applies to a feeling and why we can't solely rely on motivation. You have two types of motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic motivation is when you are genuinely passionate about whatever it is you're doing. So you're not getting anything out of it. You are just genuinely doing it because you love it. It makes you feel good. You're passionate about it, and you genuinely just love doing whatever it is. That's it. You could just do it because it makes you feel good and you feel happy and joyful and content with whatever you're doing. However, extrinsic motivation is when you are motivated because you're gonna get something out of it. So like you might do something because you're gonna get paid, or because you're gonna get a promotion. So that's extrinsic motivation. There's something that's going to happen because you're doing said thing. However, both types of motivation solely rely on you. It relies on you to be in the right frame of mind every single day to be pushing that forward. Because yes, people may think that external motivation is a lot better because you're going to be more likely to do it no matter the circumstance, because you're going to get something out of it. However, you still have to show up every single day for that, and you have to be motivated by whatever it is to be able to continue doing it. Motivation is a lovely thing to have, but if you keep waiting to feel motivated, then nothing's ever gonna get done, because like we said, you're not gonna feel motivated every single day. And this is where we need to start thinking about consistency, because yes, it is not as fluffy, nice and glittery like motivation is, because they're seen as a more positive thing. Think about the sentences, oh, I got really motivated to do this, I felt motivated to do this, and it's like, that's great. However, on those days that you don't feel motivated, then what? What are we gonna do? Are we just gonna sit out? Are we gonna stop even though you've done so much work? This is where consistency is required. Now, before we jump into consistency and how you can achieve that, please don't make the mistake of me talking about consistency being the same thing as pushing yourself to the limit or experiencing burnout. Listen to your body. We're not about that over here. You know, I hate the hustle culture, grind culture mentality that everybody is currently in right now. Over here on this channel, we're all about sustainability. How can we stay consistent with this mentality over a lifelong period of time? Longevity. How can I attribute all of these skills and these habits that I can practice day in, day out to not experience burnout and to make sure that I can still show up for myself each and every day? You may find being consistent very difficult, and so did I at the start of my journey and still do from time to time. And that's because one, we're human, and two, you're not lazy, you're just fearful of the identity shift that actually happens when you strive for your goals and the person that you could actually become. Because at the moment, you currently don't believe that you deserve that. And I'm here to tell you that you do. You deserve to achieve your goals. You deserve to live a life that younger you would be in absolute awe at now. You don't need to prove anything to anyone but yourself that you're in the long haul for this, baby. So get strapped into this ride of consistency, because that's what's going to get you the results. So how are you going to do it? How are you going to show up for yourself day in, day out, even on them days that you don't feel like doing anything? First of all, we need to actually understand what consistency is. Consistency is the quality of acting or behaving in the same way over and over and over again. It usually means that people can deem you trustworthy to perform well every time. And there's that key word, trust. If other people can trust you to perform in the same way day in, day out, then that means eventually when you stay consistent to yourself and keep your promises to yourself every single day, you will be able to trust yourself. Being able to trust yourself to keep your promises to yourself. If I say I'm gonna go to the gym at 10 a.m. every morning for half an hour and I stay consistent and do it, I believe what I say I'm gonna do. And that mindset, having that instilled in your brain, is gonna be so beneficial to manifesting and achieving all the goals that you want to, because you do what you say you're gonna do. If you say, I'm gonna open up a business in 3 years and I'm gonna have 10 employees and I'm gonna earn X amount at the end of the first year, then your brain is wired to believe that you're gonna show up for yourself and make it happen, because you have every other single time. Another example of this is if you say that you're gonna practice a new language for 40 minutes every day and commit to that, then your brain is gonna expect every day 40 minutes of you practicing a new language, because it becomes wired in your brain to expect that. It becomes a habit now. Staying consistent makes all of these great things that you do day in, day out habits. So now they're stuck, and your brain is expecting you to do this each and every day. So you will inherently be more likely to do these each and every day. Also, when you actually complete something that you set out to do, you naturally get an increase in dopamine. So it's almost like a biological reward of saying, great job, have some happiness. These are some of the main positives about consistency. But what actually happens when you wake up in the morning and simply don't want to be consistent on that day? Shrink the goal. Reduce that daily task until it's so small you cannot possibly fail. If you're learning a new language and you were going to write a few sentences each day, write one sentence. Make that task so small that you're only writing one sentence today. At least you've done it and you've still committed, because you are showing up for yourself each and every day. Even on the hard days, we can reduce the task. Something I love to do is prepare the environment. So for example, if I said to myself I was going to go to the gym really early in the morning, the night before I will prep my clothes and lay out my outfit, because that means in the morning I've set myself up for success. I don't need to worry about an outfit. It's literally there. I can hop in the outfit and leave straight away. You, in doing these kind of things, are going to also set yourself up for success so that it's not possible to fail. And in turn, we can be consistent. Another thing you can do that kind of links into the last point is remove decision fatigue. Now, what I mean by that is removing the umming and ahhing and oh, I don't know and I didn't plan for this element of making decisions to actually start doing the goal that you want to do. So, for example, if you wanted to edit in a workspace area in the city, for example, the night before you would prepare by choosing already, okay, I want to go to this one, it's going to take me half an hour to drive and there's parking around that area. Great. Which means on the actual day, you don't need to think about that at all, because you can wake up, get dressed, and you know where you're going to, how long it's going to take, and you've removed that decision fatigue of, oh gosh, that one's closed, oh no, and then you're like, I'll just leave it until tomorrow anyway, and now we've not been consistent. And the last thing you can do to help with consistency, I think, is a big one for the majority of people's mentality surrounding consistency, which is ditch the all or nothing attitude and mentality, because even doing 1% or 5% of the task that you're supposed to do is better than doing nothing. Even if you do that one small thing that contributes a little bit to your goal of the day, that's better than just doing flat out nothing, because then that's how the cycle continues. Well, I'm not going to do anything the next day. Well, I didn't do anything yesterday, so I'll just keep it going on. And then the snowball effect. And now we don't know where we're going, our goals are not being achieved, and that's not what we want. You don't need another motivation hit. You need someone who's going to show up. Think of it like this in the simplest element. You're never going to start if you don't start. Simple enough. You're never going to start if you don't start. And you're sat there waiting to get motivated. Who knows when that next time is going to happen? Who knows when you're next going to feel motivated? There's so many elements of life that come towards us, but even if you take that small step, think back to that small 1% that contributes to the bigger element of the goal. Even if you do one small thing, that is showing up for yourself. That is keeping your promises to yourself. Okay, so you really couldn't muster up going to the gym physically today. Okay, so you did a 10-minute little routine in your house. Boom. Small, short, still contributed to the task. Take the element out of the gym. Okay, cool. You went for a 5-minute walk in the morning. Okay, simple. Keeping myself to my consistencies, showing up, keeping my promises to myself, because I'm that girl who does what she says is gonna get done. Listen, this is coming from a girl who back in the day was procrastination station, lazy, really couldn't muster up the courage to do things, literally took me 5 hours to actually do something that was so small. This is all coming from a place of, I used to be in that element, and like I said, from time to time I still struggle with consistency, but knowing that I've just done that 1%, I've put my foot through the door still, and I've still showed up for myself, means I can still be consistent each and every day. If I can do it, I know you can do it. You have the ability to show up for yourself. I don't care what time of the day it is that you're watching this video right now. If you still got a little bit of time in your day, do something small that contributes towards one of your goals, and then you can make a little bit of a plan for tomorrow. If you don't have any time in the day that you're watching this and it's more of an evening, then pull up a little notepad, write what you want to get done tomorrow and how long it's going to take you. Consistency isn't about doing it perfectly. It's about deciding that you and your goals are worth showing up for each and every single day, even on those days where it doesn't feel worth it, because that is how she's built. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. It helps me out a lot and it's free, and I'll see you guys in the next video.